Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
Think faster, remember better, speak English fluently, and you do not need any magical pills. You already have everything you need. It's your brain.
An organ, but a universe of learning and creativity. Technology extends our brain, but only if used wisely. It can sharpen our thinking or weaken our focus. That's what Action 10 explores, how tech shapes our mind.
Our brains are not getting weaker, they're just changing, and it's up to us in what way. So the question is not how powerful our brain is, but the question is how we use it.
The human brain. The brain controls your other organs. It regulates pleasure and pain, hunger and thirst, blood pressure and body temperature. It also plays a huge part in determining your personal identity through thoughts, memories, and emotions we experience. The physical effect of our emotions helps us react to situations. For example, fear makes our heart beat faster and gets us ready to fight or run away. The brain also allows us to enjoy music in lots of ways. When we listen to a piece of music, we can identify the different instruments, and the music we hear often has a strong effect on our emotions. The brain allows us to create, understand, and learn languages. This process is a lot more complicated than we think. It converts spoken or written symbols into meaning, which is passed on to other people. Using our brains, we can also imagine things that are not real. We can tell stories, paint pictures, sculpt statues, and write music. This ability is the reason why we can invent new things. Your brain is an amazing organ.
My name is Serik Arman. I'm student of grade 10, School Gymnasium 22, named after Sultan Ahmed Toregar of the city of Ekibasız. This is my teacher, Issenova Assel Serikovna. And today we are going to present our project named Human Brain and Intelligence and the Human at the Age of Technology. Why we choose the topic of human brain and intelligence? Based on the Model 6 of Action 1011. This model clearly explains how human brain works and how complex is that. And besides that, it explains how human brain is not simple and it's not measured by the IQ only. And it's very important and relevant nowadays as we use all human brain and intelligence in everyday life when they communicate, when they make decisions, and talk with people.
One brain or two? Although the brain is often compared to the CPU in a computer, in reality, it is far superior and far more complex. Underneath the protective skull, the brain appears to be separated into two halves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. But this is not quite true. Information and instructions pass from one side of the brain to the other through the corpus callosum, about 200 to 250 million nerve fibers. Surprisingly, each hemisphere is responsible for the opposite side of the body. For example, information received from our senses on one side of the body is communicated to the opposite hemisphere of the brain. Some scientists think that the two hemispheres control different abilities and behavior. The left side is more related to logic, considered more creative and imaginative. For artists, such as writers, sculptors, and musicians, the right side of their brain is dominant. On the other hand, people that require organization and facts, like scientists and accountants, often have a preference for the left side. It seems that each hemisphere of the brain is useful for certain kinds of processes. For example, the left side of the brain may handle the syntax and vocabulary of language, but the right side controls the accent, speed, and intonation of speech. Neurologists have found that if one side of the brain is removed, the other side can take over some of its roles, such as speech, by creating connections or pathways between brain cells. Will we ever fully understand our own brains? Probably not. However much research we might do, the human brain is probably capable of much more than we will ever discover.
To Model 6, human brain is divided into two sections, left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Left hemisphere is responsible for logical thinking, for critical thinking, analysis, and the grammatical structures, while the right hemisphere is responsible for emotions, for creativity, and the big image. While they responsible for different things, they both connected with the corpus callosum that helps them to exchange information and helps them to work together but not separate. Another key principle of this model is that the human intelligence is not only one, and it's not measured only by IQ. People used to think that it's measured only by IQ and emotional intelligence. However, Gardner's theory, it divides intelligence into 7, 8 and more intelligence, such as kinesthetic, musical, mathematical, visual, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic and naturalistic. Such as musical is responsible for person who better understand notes and music, while the mathematical intelligence is responsible for person who better counts, who is in a good relationship with the digits, and so on. So basically, this helps to understand how one person can be good at math, for example, but not be good at another intelligence, and it's not measured by only one intelligence. Why is that important? Because every student has different intelligence and different approach to studying. One person can be better at learning by listening, another person can be better learning by practical tasks, and another might be good at learning by reading something, and that helps to teach and learn the material better. Finally, let's connect this information to the technology and a new era. Technology is a significant part of a new world, as it can be both harmful and beneficial for our brain. There's some benefits that we should take into account, such as it gives instant information for you, like videos, apps, some applications, some teaching materials that you can get to learn and understand material better. While there's some limitations and disadvantages, such as when you use technology too much, you can be too dependent or rely on it too much, and at that point, people can start losing their ability to critical think, to understand material better, and to think by themselves. At this point, we should understand that the key factor and key principle here is that technology is just a tool, and it depends on how we use that. And the results of it depends on how we use that. And the key principle and the right usage of it when we use both technology and the capabilities of brain that we got from the Model 6 to have a great results and outcomes in the future. So if we conclude everything that we said before, Model 6 of Action 10 alone helped me to understand how powerful and complex our brain, and helped me to connect this information and capabilities of brain to the technology, helped me to understand how effective is using AI technologies with the brain to show great results and have a great approach for every student and every person that want to learn any language or any studies using technology. Thank you for the attention.